Good morning everyone and welcome to my 2-minute tutorial. Today I will be teaching you about a new data type known as a struct. So far you would have learned about data types such as int, char, float, double, but now there is a new one known as a struct. Essentially, a struct can be thought of as a frame which holds multiple variable types. It basically allows a list of variables to be placed under this frame, allowing the different variables to be accessed when required. In many ways, a struct is similar to a record in a database. For example, in university, all of the students could be stored in a database, each represented by the unique ID. And when you access the student's unique ID, you can find all the information about the student. Structs behave the same way in that many other variables are stored inside it. To put things into perspective, let's look at an example. To begin with, we need to define what our struct data type will actually look like. As you can see, I've defined a new struct represented by the name student_t. This struct contains information including the student name and ID as arrays of characters, age as an integer, and wham as a double. Now that we have defined what the general student struct will look like, we can actually use it within our code. In order to create a variable with a struct data type, we need to declare it as done here. Just to show you how structs behave the same way as any other data type, we can see that we define an int in exactly the same manner. We put the data type keyword first, followed by the variable name. Just like with the struct, we put the struct student keywords first, followed by the variable name student_1. This allows us to create a new variable of type struct student. However, this variable is uninitialized, just like int number 1. In order to initialize a struct up front, we can fill in all of the required fields with the appropriate data. As you can see, we fill in John Sparks as the name, 5164355 as the ID, etc., etc. This is basically equivalent to initializing an integer number 2 straight away by giving it a value. Once we have created the struct variable, it is very easy to use within the code. As you can see over here, we are going to be changing different aspects of the student2 variable. Firstly, we can say that student2.age is equal to 20. What this is basically doing is changing the variable part of the student_2 age to the number 20. In order to access different parts of the struct, we can use this little full stop over here. This dot allows us to access different parts. For example, .age, .wham, we can change the different parts. So student2.wham equals 90.5 means that in the student_2 struct, we are changing the wham to be equal to 90.5. This is equivalent to changing a variable such as an int number 2 to the value 3 once we've already declared it. Once again, struct can be used the exact same way as any other data type. So for example, we can put them inside if statements. For example, if student2.wham is greater than or equal to 85, this basically means that we're accessing the wham component of the student2 struct, and we're seeing if it is greater than or equal to 85. If so, we want to print congratulations with the student name. As you can see, we have the %s referring to a string, and we are accessing the student2.name record. So basically the name field within the student2. Then we can also print, we have received a high distinction with the wham of, and once again we can access the wham from the student2 struct, and we only want to show to 2 decimal points, which is why we've got the little point 2 over here. The LF means that we're going to be representing a double or a long float, which is what LF actually stands for. And yes, so hopefully you understand structs a little bit better now. And thank you very much for listening to my 2-minute tutorial, even though it was a bit more than 2 minutes.